The government say that they've got capacity to do 750,000 tests a day. And so far, during the course of December, only half of that capacity has been used. Obviously, that is a total waste, and we should be using all the capacity that we have to do the testing, especially with the latest figures on the rise in infections. And there's nowhere where that capacity is needed more at the moment than in Kent. We've got to get that border reopened. There are other countries in the world, like Norway and Greece, who require tests before you can enter the country. If that's what it takes, that is what we need to do. We've had a wasted 24 hours or so where we could have started getting that capacity down to Kent and get those tests started. There's no time to waste for ensuring our supermarket shelves are stacked beyond Christmas and into the new year, to keep our manufacturing industry going, but also to get great British goods to market in the European Union. We've got to get that border open.
Um, Certainly everyone would understand that the immediate priority is, as you say, keeping those supply routes open, particularly at this time of year. At the same time, isn't there a risk that if the British government unilaterally offers testing on people leaving the United Kingdom through the ferries, getting across to Europe, that we'll be trapped in doing that in perpetuity?
Well, look, 40 countries or so have now banned travel from the United Kingdom. One of the things that we've been slow at during the course of this pandemic is to secure our border, whether that was to China back in February or later to Italy, when cases were rampant there. We do need to secure our border and ensure that people are tested when they come in to this country and quarantined properly, in a way that just hasn't happened so far. And I understand the concerns of other countries, given what the government have said about this new strain of the virus. There is an urgent situation now. Concerns for the welfare of those lorry drivers, hundreds of them down in Kent, but also for the British economy, because we want our great British goods to get to market. And so, yes, there's got to be part of a negotiation with France, but we need to make sure that that capacity is down there in Kent. Because if it is tests that are needed to get that border open, and we have that testing capacity here in the UK, let's just get it sorted and get that capacity down there so that border can reopen as quickly as possible, because these delays are costing British businesses, and if they're not sorted soon, will result in shortages both for manufacturing and potentially in our supermarkets, with prices rising as well. And given that the challenges that family finances are under at the moment, we really don't need that on top of everything else.
Indeed. In terms of what we learnt from the government yesterday, you'll be aware of the remarks from the government's chief scientific advisor, Sir Patrick Vallance, that there is a likelihood that measures, those coronavirus restrictions, will be needed in some places in due course, in his words, as the variant spreads. Is it the Labour Party's position that we should be seeing a move to Tier 4 rather more quickly than the government is intimating?
It's Labour's position that we should follow the science on all of this. And we're urging government to publish the scientific advice when it comes in, not with a lag. What we saw back in the autumn was that SAGE made recommendations on the 21st of September for a circuit break. The government didn't publish the minutes of that SAGE meeting until the 10th of October. They were 3 wasted weeks where the public didn't know the scale of the challenge we faced or the scientific advice. Let's not have that lag. There has been, Neil, a general tendency over the last few months for the Prime Minister and the government to reject the evidence, then to ridicule anyone that questions government strategy, then deny that any changes that are needed, and then with a great lag, introducing the measures that are necessary. But by that stage,
Ms. Reeves, just to be absolutely clear, to be absolutely clear, are you accusing the government of concealing information from the public, of covering up the true extent of the spread of COVID-19?
No, on September the 21st, the SAGE met and they recommended a circuit break. The minutes of that meeting were not published until the 10th of October. I believe that the government should be publishing that information from the scientists much quicker so the public can understand that and understand the decisions that government are making. But I also urge the government to act much quicker when that information is presented to them. And what we've seen during the course of this crisis is dither and delay at every stage. And as a result, the measures that are needed, whether it was the circuit break that was needed back in September, October, but didn't come in until November, whether it was tougher measures, which no one wanted to see, but are necessary around Christmas, those changes not coming in until the weekend, which then caused pandemonium on the trains at the weekend. The government need to act when the scientists say, and every delay means that there is more pressure on the NHS and more people becoming infected with this virus. So what I'm saying is the government have got to stop this general pattern of dither and delay, to act on the science. And the decisions are not always going to be popular, but that's what comes with power and responsibility. Sometimes you've got to take tough decisions that are in the national interest. And Labour will always do that. And that is why we have supported this government in terms of the restrictions that are necessary to control this virus, even though we know that it is causing hardship for many, many people. And that's why we're also saying government needs to do more in terms of supporting businesses and supporting families.